I thought my daughter was ashamed of me until I overheard her talking to her friends. I'd been working 3 different jobs since my wife passed when Emma was 12. Nothing fancy, just whatever kept food on the table and kept us in our tiny apartment. I cleaned offices at night, worked mornings at the gas station, and spent weekends stocking shelves at the grocery store. My hands were always rough, my clothes always smelled like cleaning supplies, and I drove this beat-up Honda that made weird noises whenever I turned left. Emma was 17 now, straight A student, got into college with a partial scholarship. I was proud but worried sick about how we'd cover the rest. She never complained about anything, but I noticed things. How she'd get quiet when her friends talked about their parents' jobs. How she'd walk to school instead of asking for rides. How she'd pack lunch instead of buying it in the cafeteria like everyone else. Last month, her friend Madison had this huge birthday party at her house. One of those fancy places with a pool and 3-car garage. Emma asked if she could go, and I said of course, even though I'd have to pick her up in my embarrassing car. When I pulled up, all the other parents were in their SUVs and luxury sedans. I felt like an idiot sitting there in my Honda with the duct-taped bumper. Emma came out looking embarrassed, barely said goodbye, and I drove home feeling like the worst dad in the world. That night, I heard her on the phone with Madison, and I stopped outside her door when I heard my name. "Yeah, my dad's really different from yours," she was saying. My stomach dropped. Here it comes, I thought. But then she kept talking. "Madison's dad barely knows what grade she's in. Mine knows all my teachers' names and shows up to every single school event, even when he's exhausted from working all night. Her dad bought her a car for her birthday but can't remember what her favorite color is. Mine can't afford much, but he notices everything. He knew I was stressed about chemistry before I even said anything, and he stayed up till midnight helping me study, even though he had to work at 6 a.m. I leaned against the wall, heart pounding. Madison said something I couldn't hear, and Emma laughed. "You think I'm embarrassed? I used to think other kids had it better because their parents had money, but watching your dad ignore you at dinner while scrolling his phone made me realize something. My dad works himself to death to make sure I have everything I need. He drives me to school when it's raining, even though it makes him late for work. He celebrates every good grade like I just won the Olympics." She paused, and I could hear her voice getting emotional. "Madison, your dad writes you checks instead of spending time with you. Mine can't write big checks, but he's never missed a single important moment in my life. When I got food poisoning last year, he took 3 days off work he couldn't afford to lose just to take care of me. Your dad would have hired a nurse." My eyes were watering now. She continued, "I'm not ashamed of him at all. I'm proud of him. He's the hardest working person I know, and everything he does is for me. I'd rather have my dad who shows up than your dad who just shows off." The next morning, Emma came into the kitchen while I was making coffee before my shift. She looked at me for a second, then walked over and hugged me tight. "I love you, Dad. I know you sacrifice everything for me, and I want you to know I see it." I hugged her back, trying not to cry into my coffee cup. 2 weeks later, Emma got a full scholarship to cover the rest of her tuition. When she called to tell me, she was crying happy tears. "We did it, Dad. All those nights you helped me study. All those times you believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. We actually did it."